All right, let's just jump right in. If you're amazing at what you do, a painter, a contractor, a true craftsman, but you feel totally invisible online, then this one's for you. We're going to break down exactly how you get found by local customers, and we're going to use Scottsdale painters as our main example. This is the real deal, no fluff guide to what actually gets the phone ringing.
Tell me if this sounds familiar. You do fantastic work. Your cut and lines are perfect, your prep is second to none. But when someone in your town Googles for a painter, who do they find? Your competitor. The one who probably cuts corners. And they're just sitting there right at the top of the page. It's just maddening, right? Well, that's the exact problem we're going to solve today.
And this really gets to the heart of the issue. You have spent years, maybe your whole career, becoming an absolute expert with a paintbrush. But here's the thing. That skill doesn't just magically translate into online visibility. It's kind of like being a 5-star chef cooking in a restaurant that doesn't even have a sign out front. There's this huge gap between how good you are in the real world and how easy you are to find online.
Now, I know a lot of people hear that term SEO and their eyes glaze over. They think it's some sort of, digital dark art or complicated code. But I've got good news. For a local business like yours, it's really not. The best way to think about it is just like good prep work before a paint job. It's a series of simple, logical steps that just guarantee a much, much better final result. It's all about being methodical, not magical.
So, where do we start with all this prep work? Right here. We start with the single most important online tool you have for local search, and that's your Google Business Profile.
Yeah, you heard me right. Let that one sink in. That little box that pops up in Google Maps, the one on the side of the search results with your photos and reviews, that is your digital storefront. For so many of your potential customers, it's the first and sometimes the only thing they'll ever see of your business online. So getting this part right isn't just important, it's everything.
Mastering your profile really just boils down to these 3 key things. Number 1, fill out everything. Seriously, every single blank field is a missed chance to tell Google what you do. 2, photo overload. You're in a visual business, so show off your work. And 3, get reviews. Make it a part of your process. Every time you finish a job with a happy customer, ask them for a review, and then respond to every single one. It shows everyone, including Google, that you're active and that you actually care.
And, when I say photo overload, what does that really mean? It means you got to go beyond just the pretty after shots. Show your crew working, carefully taping everything off. Show your clean van and your equipment. And before and afters? Oh man, those are pure gold. These kinds of photos don't just show your work, they build serious trust by showing people your process and professionalism from start to finish.
Okay, so once your Google profile is all polished up, we're ready for pillar number 2. Now we're going to turn our attention to your website and make sure it's sending all the right signals to Google. I just love this definition because it cuts right to the chase. This isn't about being subtle. It's about making it screamingly obvious. You want to shout at Google, "Hey, over here, I am the painting expert for Scottsdale, Arizona." See, Google's whole job is to find the most relevant local expert, and your job is to make it as easy as possible for it to pick you.
And here's a perfect, super simple example of what that looks like. A page on your website titled Exterior Painting? Well, that could be for a business anywhere on the planet. But a title like Exterior House Painting in Scottsdale, AZ? Well, there's absolutely no doubt. You are telling Google exactly what you do and exactly where you do it. And that is precisely what your customers are typing into the search bar. So how do you get your whole website to speak Scottsdale? Well, you sprinkle these local signals everywhere. Put your city and state in the footer of every single page. If you serve nearby towns like Paradise Valley, create a separate page just for that. And here's a real pro tip. Write about local problems. A blog post about choosing the best paint to survive that intense Arizona sun? That shows you're not just any painter, you're a local expert.
All right, last but definitely not least, we get to our 3rd pillar, building trust. You see, Google doesn't just take your word for it. It doesn't just look at your own website. It actually does a kind of background check all across the internet to see if your story adds up.
And the most important piece of that background check is your NAP. That's your name, address, and phone number. You should think of it like your business's unique digital fingerprint. It needs to be perfectly clear and, more importantly, it has to be consistent everywhere.
And that consistency is just so critical. When Google crawls the web and sees your exact same name, address, and phone number on important sites like Yelp, Huz, and the Better Business Bureau, that's a huge green flag. It tells Google you're a real, stable business. But if it finds different versions, like street spelled out here but abbreviated as ST over there, or an old phone number somewhere else, that raises a red flag. It creates confusion and it will absolutely hurt your rankings.
So there you have it. We've covered the 3 pillars: your Google profile, your website's local focus, and your online trust signals. This is the blueprint. These are the fundamental steps you need to take to finally get found online by the customers you want.
Now, looking at all of this, I'm guessing you might be thinking, wow, that sounds like a lot of work. And you know what? You're not wrong. Let's be real for a second. To do this stuff right, it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing. It takes ongoing effort and attention. It can honestly feel like a whole other full-time job on top of the real job you already have, running your crews, bidding on projects, and, actually painting.
And that means it all comes down to a choice, a strategic decision. You are an expert at what you do. You transform people's homes. The real key is deciding how you want to apply that same level of expertise to transforming your online presence. Do you dedicate your own time to it, or do you find a partner you can trust to handle it?
So we'll just leave you with this one final thought. As a business owner, your time is your single most valuable asset. Now that you have the blueprint, the real question you have to ask yourself is, where does your expertise create the most value for your business? Is it with a paintbrush in your hand or with a keyboard?